The sun was barely cresting the horizon when I heard the crack of a rifle echo across my ranch. My heart sank. That wasn't a sound you ignore on a quiet morning in rural Texas, especially not on my 200 acres of hard-earned land, where every animal is family and every blade of grass is a testament to years of sweat. I'm Jake Harlan, a third-generation rancher, and my spread, Harlan's Haven, is my life. My prized longhorn bull, Big Red, was the crown jewel, a massive, rust-colored beast with horns spanning 6 feet, worth $50,000 on a bad day. He was more than livestock. He was a symbol of everything I'd built. So when that shot rang out, I knew something was wrong. Terribly wrong. I threw on my boots, grabbed my .30-06 from the safe, and tore out the door, my border collie, Rusty, barking at my heels. The air was crisp, the kind of October morning where the dew clings to the grass and your breath hangs in clouds. The shot had come from the north pasture, near the boundary line where my property butts up against the new gated community, Sunrise Estates. That's where the trouble started, Sunrise Estates and its HOA president, Karen Whitmore. Karen moved in 2 years ago, a city transplant with a perm and a penchant for power. She'd been a thorn in my side ever since, complaining about my cattle's smell, my tractor's noise, even the way my barn's red paint clashed with her neighborhood's aesthetic. She'd send me letters on official HOA stationery, citing bylaws that didn't apply to my deeded land, demanding I comply with her vision of suburban perfection. I ignored her. My ranch predates her McMansions by a century, and I wasn't about to let some clipboard-wielding busybody tell me how to run it. But Karen had escalated things lately. She'd been cozying up to a local hunting outfitter, Buck's Trophy Tours, letting their clients park on her community's roads to access public land nearby. Problem was, her access sometimes meant cutting through my property. I'd found tire tracks, beer cans, and once, a gut pile from a deer left on my north fence line. I'd put up no trespassing signs, reinforced my barbed wire, even called the sheriff, but Karen always played innocent, batting her eyes and claiming it was an honest mistake. The sheriff, a good old boy named Tom, was sympathetic but said I needed proof. Without it, his hands were tied. That morning, as I raced toward the north pasture, I had a sick feeling Karen was involved. I crested a hill and saw them, 2 hunters in blaze orange, kneeling over a massive shape in the grass. Big Red. His head was slumped, blood pooling beneath him, those magnificent horns still as stone. My stomach churned. I raised my rifle, not to shoot, but to make a point, and hollered, "What the hell did you do?" The hunters, a wiry guy with a goatee and a stocky one with a camo cap, froze. Goatee stammered, We had permission. The lady from the HOA said this was open land." "Open land," I roared, my voice shaking. "This is my ranch. That's my bull. You just killed $50,000 and 10 years of breeding." Camo Cap stood, hands up. "Whoa, man, we didn't know. She gave us a map, said we could hunt here. We thought it was wild game." I lowered the rifle but kept it ready. "Show me the map." Goatee fumbled in his pack and handed over a crumpled paper. Sure enough, it was a hand-drawn map with Sunrise Estates letterhead, showing my north pasture marked as hunting access. Karen's loopy signature was at the bottom. My blood boiled. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. "Get off my land," I growled. "And don't touch him. You've done enough." They didn't argue, grabbing their gear and hightailing it toward the fence line. Rusty nipped at their heels for good measure. I knelt beside Big Red, his eyes glassy, his chest still. He'd been shot clean through the heart. Perfect shot, but it didn't make it any easier. I sat there for a long time, hand on his flank, feeling the weight of the loss. Big Red wasn't just a bull. He was the future of my herd, the pride of every county fair I'd ever entered. And Karen had taken that from me. I called Tom. He arrived within the hour, his cruiser kicking up dust on my dirt road. I showed him the body, the map, the whole damn scene. His face darkened as he read Karen's signature. "This ain't good, Jake," he said, scratching his neck. "She's got no authority to grant access to your land." This is criminal trespass at best, maybe destruction of property. But we need to talk to her. We drove to Sunrise Estates, where Karen's house sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, all beige brick and manicured shrubs. She answered the door in a pink tracksuit, her smile as fake as her tan. "Jake, Sheriff, what's this about?" she chirped, like she didn't know. "You gave hunters access to my ranch," I said, holding up the map. "They shot my prize bull. You signed this." Her eyes widened, but only for a second before the act kicked in. "Oh my goodness. There must be some misunderstanding. I told Buck's Tours they could use the public easement, not your property." "I'd never." "Save it," Tom cut in. "This map shows Jake's pasture, clear as day, with your signature. You care to explain?" Karen's face hardened, but she doubled down. "I'm not responsible for their actions. I'm just trying to support local business. Maybe if Jake maintained his fences better." "My fences are steel and barbed wire," I snapped. "And your hunters didn't climb them. They used the gate you left unlocked." Tom sighed. "Karen, I'm gonna need you to come to the station. We've got some questions." She huffed but complied, muttering about lawyers as Tom escorted her to the cruiser. I went back to the ranch, my mind racing. Losing Big Red was a gut punch, but this wasn't just about money. It was about principle. Karen had crossed a line, and I wasn't letting it slide. The next week was a blur of paperwork and phone calls. The hunters, who turned out to be out-of-state clients of Buck's Tours, were horrified when they learned the truth. They offered to pay for Big Red, but no check could replace him. Buck, the outfitter, was furious with Karen, claiming she'd assured him the land was clear. He cut ties with her and sent me a written apology, along with a promise to never set foot on my property again. Karen, meanwhile, tried every trick in the book. She claimed the map was forged, then said it was a clerical error, then tried to pin it on a rogue HOA board member. But the evidence was ironclad. Her signature, her letterhead, and security footage from a neighbor's camera showing her handing the map to the hunters. Tom charged her with criminal trespass and destruction of property, and the county prosecutor was considering felony charges given Big Red's value. I didn't stop there. I hired a lawyer, a sharp woman named Lila who specialized in property disputes. She dug into Sunrise Estates' HOA records and found a pattern. Karen had been using her position to bully other landowners, extorting fines for made-up violations and cozying up to developers to push her own agenda. Lila filed a civil suit against Karen and the HOA for damages, not just for Big Red but for emotional distress and loss of future earnings from his bloodline. The suit asked for $100,000, and Lila was confident we'd win. The community turned on Karen fast. Sunrise Estates residents, sick of her petty tyranny, voted her out as HOA president at the next meeting. Her house went up for sale a month later, but word was she couldn't find a buyer. Nobody wants to live next to a pariah. As for me, I buried Big Red in the north pasture, under an oak tree where he used to nap. I planted a new sign there, Harlan's Haven, private property. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Every morning, I walk Rusty out to check the fences, half expecting Karen to pull another stunt. But she's gone quiet, and the hunters haven't been back. The ranch feels emptier without Big Red's bellow echoing across the fields. I'm rebuilding, focusing on my other longhorns, but it'll take years to breed another like him. Still, I've got something Karen never will. Roots in this land, a legacy that outlasts her schemes. She thought she could push me around, but she forgot one thing: ranchers don't bend. We break before we bow, and I'm nowhere near broken.